Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Skyforge. During the last part, I completed the open world region of Vines back in the Tisiphone province. So in this part, I'll continue my journey by embarking on 4 squad adventures in the province of Bellonia. But first, as promised, I'll be swapping over from using the Kinetic class over to the Berserker. Berserkers are an aggressive melee DPS class who wield two-handed chainswords. Their main playstyle involves them rushing or leaping into groups of enemies and crushing and sawing into them using their giant chainswords. Berserkers have the ability to smash multiple foes at once, temporarily cripple/stun, reduce their enemies' defenses, instill fear, raise damage dealt and crit chance, and pull in enemies into a deadly whirlwind or firestorm. Their other key characteristic is their ability to break down shields more easily. The Chainsword Whirlwind combined with the ability to impair their enemies and thirst for battle means players can easily decimate trash mobs, and for tougher foes, a Berserker can always use the debuffs at their disposal. The only issue with the Berserker class is their lack of defensive abilities. Unlike the Paladin, Cryomancer, and Kinetic, which all had some shielding or damage mitigation abilities, the Berserker is all about dealing damage and lots of it. All of their combos and abilities are pretty damaging, and their debuff and crowd control skills promote that. The only vaguely defensive ability in their arsenal is the Roar, which temporarily scares away weaker enemies for a short duration of time. This can prove to be problematic when battling enemies near environmental hazards. Their skills can work well in groups, especially their debuff, CC, and shield wrecking ones. So when playing as the Berserker, keep an eye on your health meter and make sure to pick up health orbs when necessary. Our first adventure is at Artonis Valley. Demons have occupied the ancient ruins here, and it's up to us to destroy their obelisks and clear them out. We've seen all the imps, aggressors, furies, and bosses before though, so they don't need elaboration. I forgot to show off the Berserker skills in the ability menu itself, so here they are.
The demons have occupied Artonis Valley. They're using obelisks to bring more of their kind here. Wonderful. There's only one obelisk left. Obelisks destroyed, but our scanners detect another object of demonic origin.
And thus, the ancient ruins of the Sky City have been cleared, though a cleanup crew will have to arrive later in order to clean up all of the demonic contaminants. Next up, it's time to visit the Saffire Air Dockyard, which has come under attack by the mechanoids. This is an important facility, as it repairs and produces a whole bunch of aircraft yearly. If it were to fall under complete control of the mechanoids, they'd have a central fabrication point for launching attacks onto other areas of this province.
There's a fort nearby. We should send them a signal. The communication console is in the docks, next to the ship. Be on your guard. There are mechanoids all over the place.
I temporarily blocked Civil, so we'll give you an abridged version of this message regarding the devices, leaving out the emotional contents. Well, he said nothing.
This is also the adventure where we see a new subclass or subfaction of the mechanoids, the Altered, or as they're called in future missions, Korgs. Both are essentially former humans who have been forcefully roboticized to be slaves of the mechanoids, although Korgs are much more roboticized and greater threats compared to the Altered. I guess we arrived early enough that the roboticization and upgrade processes were not completed yet. Unfortunately, we didn't arrive soon enough in order to save these poor workers.
This Civil thinks he can do my job. Preposterous. He didn't say anything about the tail cannon of this mechanoid. Perhaps he wants you to die. Actually, I'm sure he does.
But they can't leave the docks as long as the main gates are closed. Please open them.
Ground gliders will leave the docks as soon as you open the gates. Just in case you didn't know.
Thank you. I hope the mechanoid don't intercept them. Don't worry about me. There's an emergency exit in the cabin.
Civil didn't mention that the entrance to the warehouse was guarded either. That's so like humans. They're so careless. By the way, the second troop is on the way.
Thanks to the combined efforts of me and the 2 squads of troops sent by Captain Artonis, this facility has been cleared of the mechanoids. It's mostly undamaged physically, but the workers who perished will need to be replaced. Seriously, with all of these attacks and attempted takeovers on production plants, these facilities should really bolster their security protocols. Speaking of bolstering security, it's time to save the Taron Power Station next. Unfortunately, the guards stationed there weren't strong enough to fend off the attack.
Our enemies are trying to reach one of the reactor cores. Even you can defend it. I recommend starting immediately.
What happened is that well-equipped Gorgonite saboteurs have broken into the power station. They intend to blow up the reactor, which will contaminate large territories of this province, potentially making them uninhabitable to humans. So we need to secure all 3 reactor cores of this place.
The first core is right ahead. Get ready for a fight. It does not look that difficult from here.
Now, if a wave of Gorgonites ends up destroying a reactor core, don't fret. You'll just be taken back to the nearest checkpoint and be able to repeat the defense. It's just like dying in normal missions.
Warning. Core health 75%. Warning. Core health 50%. Good, but we can't relax just yet. There are 2 more cores. They must be secured. Quick, you still need to reach them. Increased radiation levels detected. I would not recommend lingering here. It is harmful even to strange life forms like yourself.
I'm starting to wonder if this power plant is handling radioactive materials. Anyways, as Argus said, as long as you stay in the irradiated water, you'll take damage over time. Thankfully, if you are low on health, there are a few boxes and terrain pieces you can stand on to regenerate your health. Interestingly enough, it appears that the Vipers here are immune to the damaging effects.
Trying to mine the reactor. A suicidal attempt. You're not going to just stare and watch. You did it. Unexpectedly well, I should say. Congratulations. A beautiful picture. You are looking at the 3rd reactor core. Enjoy the view while you wait for the enemy. That's over. Although, oh no!
Despite Argus's concern, the drill hydra was of little to no trouble. Alas, the power station has now been secured. Good thing the Immortals were alerted to this threat quickly, otherwise we could have ended up with a major disaster on our hands. It's time to embark on the 4th and final adventure of this part, Cold Quarry. We have received a distress signal about some workers going missing. A search party was dispatched, but they too went missing. So it's up to us to investigate this issue.
Presence of Korgs detected. I suggest you think very carefully before drawing their attention.
Recall our time back at the dockyard, where we interrupted the mechanoid conversion process before it had completed. Now we're facing Korgs, the culmination of the aforementioned process and the newest mechanoid subfaction.
You have a real talent for falling into ambushes. I hope you have a talent for getting out of them too.
Based on previous occurrences, I presume the workers were strapped onto these devices, while a larger mechanoid cube, or perhaps even a specially designed Rutirius or Secutar, performed the conversion operation. Sadly, there's no way to save them other than destroying them.
The workers tried to resist. Too zealousy by the looks of it.
Here's the first mini-boss of this stage, Security Unit Mechanoid Secutar Sentry Commandant. It can fire lasers and create a blue energy field that allows it to summon enemies like sweepers to its side. Korgs have three classes or families of enemies: Sweepers, the lightly armored foot soldiers; Drovers, the medium armored troopers; and Cutthroats, the heavily armored smashers. They can be further subdivided based on their role in combat. For Sweepers, we have Rippers, Butchers, Miners, and Guides. For Drovers, we have Revenants, Shockers, Panzers, and Reflectors. For Cutthroats, we have Usurpers, Jumpers, and Smashers.
have discovered another trap. How? By falling into it, as usual. Not the most elegant approach, but it's effective, isn't it?
Here's the second mini-boss of this stage, Korg Liquidator Special Cutthroat Glutton. It's the first instance of a cutthroat. It's rather odd that we first face this one before the regular cutthroats later in this mission. This glutton can perform melee attacks and can form these strange floating grain globs. Standing near one of these globs will drain your health over time and restore some of the glutton's health in return. These do eventually dissipate and explode.
People, judging by their vitals, their bodies have not been altered yet. The key word is yet.
Following this battle, we will start encountering cutthroats as regular enemies. Upon death, they will explode and form acid pile. This makes them more of a nuisance to deal with as melee classes.
Something tells me you won't get any gratitude this...
Ian! Have you seen Ian? My brother. He worked here too. Ian went missing just as this nightmare started. 2 shifts ago, he went to check the compressor in the other part of the plant. He contacted us and said that he found some device that shouldn't have been there. He said that he'd go and take a better look, and then we lost contact with him. We knew that something was wrong right away. Accidents do happen here occasionally. The equipment is not new, to put it mildly. Guys from our crew went to go look for him, but didn't come back either, all 5 of them. We called the center and reported the emergency. We were ordered not to do anything and waited for help. And then they came, those monsters. And I swear on Ali's cannon that I saw our missing crew members among them. They must have closed off the perimeter and then moved towards the center. Slowly, without a word. Anyone who was caught was captured and dragged off somewhere. I also saw a few mechanoids. They kept a little away, mounting the same things Ian had talked about. Unless they decided to settle on Aelion and set up a base here. We mine and process raw materials for construction. There's nothing valuable here. Can you lead us out? Then Huh? They're here! But wait! That's...
The enemy
Ian.
has spotted you.
Ian! Wait,
the chances
it's me,
of winning
Dustin.
are 1 to 1. I think I'll bet on you for a change.
No! 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 Don't touch him! It's my brother! Oh God, it's Ian! Don't kill them. Maybe they can still be saved! Get them away from me!
I was delaying here just to ensure that the rest of the dialogue would play out. We just need to defend these surviving workers from the onslaught of Korgs and other mechanoids. Sadly, there's no hope of restoring the Korgs. Their humanity has been completely stripped away by these mechanoids.
Get them away from me!
saw someone. A huge sector running from the group of mechanoids a little further into the plant. I don't know what it was after. Maybe there was one of those things with humans inside. Wait, people! Oh gods, a brigade was still there. Even if you could have saved the others, save these people.
At last, here's the boss mechanoid leading the assault on this quarry. The logistic unit mechanoid Secutar Inspector Drover. Like other Secutars, it can fire homing beams at you. What differentiates it from previous ones is that it can produce a blue energy field which allows it to summon enemies like cutthroats to its side, as well as eat/absorb people to regenerate its health. With that last Secutar destroyed, we've resecured the quarry and saved the surviving workers. However, before they can resume work, the workers will need some serious dedicated therapy for the horrors they saw and friends and family they lost. Work resuming next week seems like a rather optimistic prediction. Well, I guess this is a good time to end off this part. In summary, I completed the adventures at Artonis Hollow, Saffire Air Dockyard, Taron Power Station, and Cold Quarry. And along the way, I unlocked the Night class. The Factorium adventure will take at least 15 minutes, so I'll reserve that for the next part. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!